Hey my friends, hope you're doing fantastic. I have a lot to talk about, but first we got to record a new episode of the Scaling Creative Podcast. This has been so much fun so far, so I'm excited to get it going, but a lot of setup is involved in this podcast. Trying to work on getting better at that. All right, new lens. Thank you.
I'm watching him do this, and it's like he's going to cut himself.
This is actually not a super exciting purchase, but kind of am hoping it's more exciting than I think. I want to get a new lens for the Canon for vlogging because the 16-35 is just not super wide. I've never seen this. This is like insane bubble wrapping.
We need to get a close up of this
My
one.
goodness. Like you can't even find like this is the Canon 10 to 22.
Ooh.
All right, there it is. Looks pretty nice. So I was using the 10 to 18, which is really nice for size and really nice for the wideness, but the f4.5 is not good for low light, and it's also just not a super sharp lens in comparison to the 16 to 35, this one. But this one's really, really big and heavy and bulky. So I was thinking it'd be nice to have like a different lens that would allow me to vlog more and have it wider. So let's give this a shot. Just wrapped up a really, really good podcast. Excited to launch that one. If you have not yet heard, yes, I still have the Scott McKenna podcast, but expect some changes in that. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm going to continue to do with that one, but the Scaling Creative podcast is definitely going to be something we're going to be going really hard after and at a bare minimum trying to do once a week and putting a lot of content around that. So just going to start editing this episode now and working on some social media clips for last week's episode. Just really enjoying it. It's fun. I think it's another good episode. Today we talked all about personal branding, so I'm excited to talk a little bit more about that next week when we launch that podcast, because obviously that's what this channel is all about, and I'm all about personal branding. I think it's super, super important. But for now, let's get to work. Let's get editing last week's snippets, and then we got to work on this week's podcast. It just gets really confusing. The easy answer is social media is a no-brainer, that social media is the best way to advertise right now. But I always like to say it's because of the fact that I think that nobody has an unlimited budget in advertising. Everyone has a budget.
Right.
And so if I were to tell you you have $100 to spend on food, you're going to try to do everything you can to find the right store and the right place to get the most amount of food for your money.
Correct.
Advertising should be that way. So the reason I think social is so good is not just that everyone's on it, which is why it's so good, but more importantly, it's everyone's on it and it's the cheapest.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable how many people spend so much money on like what used to work. I just can't really comprehend that. So to me, social's the best because you have the most attention for currently the cheapest price. Trying lots of stuff out and really, really having a lot of fun with it. I love the feeling of just like upload. It's great. So much better than share to all platforms. Big difference. Talked about it before. Can't stress it enough. Creating content for different platforms and different uses is really, really important. Okay, well, kind of an abrupt jump into this evening, but I realized I started the vlog by saying I have lots to talk about, and then I never actually talked about anything. So just wanted to really quickly update you. You may have realized over the last honestly a couple months that I haven't posted nearly as much as I used to on this channel, and I haven't done nearly as much on the podcast as I've been wanting to do. And the reality is it's just a really different new season for me. I'm busier than I've ever been with Scaling Creative. Scaling Creative is growing like crazy, which is phenomenal. I'm super excited about that. There's 4 employees in here all the time now, and sometimes more than that, and the self-awareness is becoming more and more relevant to me of like, I'm a person that really loves being around people to a point, and then struggling with it. Sometimes I kind of need some time to myself, and I'm trying to find that balance. How do I find time for myself so I can re-energize and feel motivated and not feel like I'm being distracted by other people or that I'm distracting people? And it's just this whole new season for me. You know, part of that reality is right now I'm looking at possibly getting a different office that kind of everyone can be at, and I can kind of keep this as like my main office, because it's just sometimes hard. It's sometimes not always easy for me to be around people all the time, and I'm realizing it more and more, just the importance of just being aware of how you function. I realize I've been taking on so many different things over the last bunch of months that what ends up happening is you take on so many different things that you end up kind of feeling stretched thin with those. And then because my brain works on this mentality that I love starting a project and finishing a project, I feel like there are so many things that are going on currently that nothing really has like a completion feel to it to me. Because I can very easily, I realize, get discouraged with like feeling like everything's kind of a mess. And so I tend to put band-aids on certain things, and whether it be hiring certain people to help fix the band-aids or putting people in the wrong position that they shouldn't be to try to fix band-aids. And I'm realizing sometimes I just have to fix some of the things myself. I have to make certain decisions myself and not rely on other people for those things. I sometimes have to scale back on certain things. I think that I may, stop the Scott McKenna podcast for a while. I'm not doing much with it, but there's this weird sensation with me where when I know something exists, like my podcast, but I'm not producing something on it, it stresses me out. Like it gives me this like, it just becomes like this burden on me. Even though no one's like waiting around for a new Scott McKenna podcast, it's something that just in my head drives me crazy knowing something's not on it. And even this YouTube channel, I don't want to quit this whatsoever. So I just want to try to figure out how I can make sure that I can just continue to produce stuff here, because I think a lot about how I can continue to grow this channel, continue to grow what I'm trying to do on this platform too, but that can overwhelm me as well. And then scaling creative and 4L6 Studios and employees and keeping employees happy. Just it's a whole new season. Like part of this documenting this process is that everything that I'm doing is brand new to me. Like I've never been a boss of employees. I've never had payroll. I've never had a company that's making the kind of money that the company is making. But there's good and bad in that. Like there's stresses in that. There's realities of that. There's things I've never had to think of that I now have to think of. There's decisions I have to make that I haven't had to make. There's tons of clients. There's a lot going on. And so I'm always just in this stage where I'm sometimes trying to keep afloat while making decisions, while hiring people, while training people, while doing the YouTube channel. And sometimes it's just a lot. If I seem scattered every once in a while, if I feel like I haven't uploaded something for a week or the podcast has been non-existent, like it's weighing on me as well, and I'm trying to like just fight that balance. And I know that none of you are like waiting around for my videos, and most of you are super kind people, so you'll be commenting, don't worry about it, like, do what you need to do, we're all fine. Like, and I get that. I put more pressure on myself than like any of you put on me. This community of people that follow my journey on this channel, you guys watching, it matters a lot to me that I can continue to provide the actual real life insight behind like what it looks like to actually operate a business, which is that there are difficulties of it. Even when things are really good right now, there's nothing bad whatsoever happening at Scaling Creative. Business is at an all-time high. Everything is good. Yet there are additional struggles and additional things that I'm dealing with that I've never had to deal with before because of the stress of having a larger company. Yeah, just lots of stuff is going on right now. I'm really fired up about everything. I'm super excited for what we're doing with the new podcast. So excited for what we're doing with the company. So excited for things happening. Tons of travel at the end of this month. Speaking out in Colorado at the Venture Workshop. Just lots of good things happening. But this is like an ongoing balance. And I super appreciate you following along on this journey. It honestly means the world to me. The amount of messages that you guys send me about the impact that the channel has had, or the podcast, or anything that you see come across some of the content that I try to produce, that's literally what fuels me. It fuels me to know that it's making an impact on some of you that are in this journey as well. And I just want to continue to do all I can to continue to just produce stuff that can maybe help you in your journey, so you know that you're not alone in this either. And really, this is just kind of a pretty boring vlog, but just wanted to update you, let you know where things are at, let you know why there's been not that many videos, and let you know that I'm really trying hard to figure out how I can be better at having a schedule, even for myself. But just know I haven't given up on any of this kind of stuff. I'm still working harder than ever, trying to find a balance in life, you know what I mean?